The legend Carlos Hathcock, who's well-known across the Marine Corps, is profiled in this narrative. It was the White Feather. If you're new to our channel, check out similar videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Never miss a similar updates. 93 verifiable kills were documented by Carlos Norman Hathcock II while he was a sniper with the United States Marine Corps, or USMC. Due to his accomplishments and the peculiar intricacies of the missions he successfully accomplished, Hathcock rose to legendary status within the U.S. Marine Corps. The North Vietnamese People's Army of Vietnam gave Hathcock the nickname White Feather, and the Springfield Armory M25 White Feather was named in his honor. Hathcock was born in Little Rock, Arkansas on May 20, 1942. He lived with his grandmother in Wayne, Arkansas for the first 12 years of his youth following his parents' separation. When he was a young boy visiting his family in Mississippi, he began shooting and hunting partly out of a need to provide food for his impoverished family. With a vintage Mauser that his father, Carlos Norman Hathcock, had brought back from World War II, he would act as a soldier and chase fake Japanese forces throughout the woods. He utilized a .22 caliber J.C. Higgins single-shot rifle at that young age for hunting. At the age of 17, Hathcock enlisted in the American Marine Corps because he had always wanted to be a Marine. Hathcock married Josephine Bryan, also known as Jo, on November 10, 1962, the Marine Corps birthday. In honor of Jo, who gave birth to him, they gave their son the name Carlos Norman Hathcock III. Before being dispatched to South Vietnam, Hathcock had won shooting events at Camp Perry and the Wimbledon Cup. In 1966, Hathcock enlisted in the military police to serve in the Vietnam War. Hathcock switched to being a sniper, though, because Captain Edward James Land required that there be snipers in every unit. Later, Land sought Fairness, who had broken their own sharpshooting records. Hathcock, who had won the Wimbledon Cup at Camp Perry in 1965, the highest honor for long-range shooting, was one of these Marines. 93 PAVN and Viet Cong members were confirmed killed by Hathcock during the Vietnam War. In the Vietnam War, in addition to the sniper spotter, a second person who had to be an officer had to verify kills. Snipers typically worked alone, which made confirmation difficult, especially when their target was hidden behind enemy lines, which happened frequently. Hathcock estimated that he had killed between 300 and 400 enemy soldiers during the Vietnam War. Hathcock typically used a Winchester Model 70.32-06 caliber rifle with an 8-power unilateral scope, which is the standard sniper rifle. On several occasions, though, he switched to the M2 Browning machine gun, which he put an 8x unilateral scope on with the help of a bracket created by CBSWs. With this weapon, Hathcock made a handful of kills from distances greater than 1,000 yards. As a sidearm, Hathcock carried a Colt M1911A1 pistol. The PAVN offered a $30,000 U.S. bounty on Hathcock for the mass slaughter of their soldiers. The PAVN regularly paid between $8,000 and $2,000 as incentives to American snipers. Hathcock eliminated every known Vietnamese marksman who pursued him in an effort to collect the record-breaking prize. Because of the White Feather he consistently wore in a band on his bush hat, Hathcock was given the nickname White Feather by the PAVN and the Viet Cong. When a battalion of Vietnamese snipers was told to find White Feather, many Marines in the area donned white feathers to deceive the enemy. Since the Marines were aware of the consequences of murdering Hathcock, they made the decision to make themselves targets in order to distract the counter-snipers. Hathcock is well known for killing an enemy sniper using the sniper's own weapon scope. This is one of his most illustrious accomplishments. Hathcock and his spotter, John Roland Burke, were tracking the enemy sniper from a firebase on Hill 55, southwest of Da Nang. It was believed that the unidentified Cobra shooter, who had already killed a number of Marines, had been sent specifically to kill Hathcock. When Hathcock saw a gleam in the bushes, he fired through the scope and killed the sniper. Hathcock had seized the dead sniper's gun with the purpose of bringing it home as a trophy, but he turned it in and marked it. The armory took it away. Hathcock asserted in interviews that she was the Apache Woman, a female Viet Cong battalion leader infamous for torturing American Marines held prisoner close to the Hill 55 firebase. But academics disagree with Hathcock's story and cast doubt on the veracity of Apache, including Jeremy Lemke. Hathcock only ever removed the white feather from his bush hat once when he was a soldier in Vietnam. He crawled across a 1,500-yard field only days before the conclusion of his first deployment to engage a PAVN commander in a voluntary operation. He wasn't informed of the details of the assignment before he committed to it. This task required continuous, inch-by-inch crawling over the course of 4 days and 3 nights. Hathcock reported that shortly after sunset, While sprawled out in a grassy meadow filled with various plants, he nearly got run over. A bamboo viper once came perilously near to bite him, but he exercised smart judgment to avoid moving and losing his position. As the general was leaving his tent, Hathcock fired one shot, striking him in the chest and killing him. After the mission, Hathcock went back to the United States in 1967. He returned to Vietnam in 1969 and supervised a platoon of snipers despite missing the Marine Corps. Hathcock's sniper career abruptly ended on September 16, 1969, when the LVT-5 he was riding in hit an anti-tank mine on Highway 1 north of El Baldi. Hathcock suffered severe burns to his face, arms, and legs while pulling 7 Marines out of the flaming vehicle. Then, without realizing the severity of his wounds, someone dragged him aside and dove him under. During his recovery, Hathcock was awarded the Purple Heart. Nearly 30 years later, he received a Silver Star for it. Hathcock and the 7 Marines he freed from the automobile were evacuated by helicopter to the medical ship USS Repose, a naval hospital in Tokyo, and finally to the burn center at Brooke Arm Medical Center in San Antonio, Texas. After being ordered back into active duty, Hathcock helped establish the Marine Corps Scout Sniper School at the Marine Station in Quantico, Virginia. Despite the serious wounds he sustained in Vietnam, he remained in dedicating his life to sniper training despite being in great pain. Hathcock was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 1975 when his health began to worsen. He stayed in the Marine Corps, but his health deteriorated. Just 55 days separated him from the 20 years of service that would have made him eligible for ordinary retirement benefits, and he received a permanent disability separation. After receiving medical clearance, he received full disability benefits. He would have only received half of his last pay grade if he had retired after 20 years. He fell into melancholy after being forced to leave the Marines because he thought he had been kicked out of the group. During the sad time, his wife Jo almost left him, but she decided to stay. Finally, taking up the hobby of shark fishing, Hathcock found it calming. Police departments and a few military units such as SEAL Team 6 got sniper training from Hathcock. Hathcock once said that his capacity for getting in the bubble, a condition of total, complete, absolute concentration, aided him in remaining alive in his area of work. He was able to concentrate on his instruments first, then his environment, where every leaf and breeze had meaning, and lastly his prey. A buddy gave Hathcock a remark by Ernest Hemingway after the war: "There is no hunting like the hunting of man, and those who have hunted armed men long enough and like it never really care for anything else after." He copied the words of Ernest Hemingway down on paper. Hathcock declared that he was right. The problem was with the hunt, not the killing. Hathcock claimed in a book about his time as a sniper, "I adore hunting and shooting. However, I've never liked killing people. I'm in charge of it. If I don't apprehend those cretins, many of these kids dressed as Marines will be killed. That is how I perceived it, at least." The son of Carlos Hatchcock, Carlos III, later enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps. After continuing his father's shooting career, he left the Marine Corps as a gunnery sergeant and ascended to the position of Board of Governors member of the Marine Corps Distinguished Shooters Association. Hathcock died of complications from multiple sclerosis on February 22, 1999, in Virginia Beach, Virginia, at the age of 56. He's interred in Norfolk, Virginia's Woodlawn Memorial Gardens. A legend, Carlos Hathcock will always remain, a singular individual who has ever been able to shoot someone via their scope. Future generations will hear about him and the monsters their forefathers were. Hope you liked this video. Subscribe to our channel to never miss out on similar videos.